Our family loves getting out in nature and exploring. Growing up in Loamede as a bush kid, I really love connecting with nature and being in nature, and it's nice that the Gladstone region offers that. It's not very far to go anywhere you are, and you can connect with some sort of nature, whether it's the ocean or a creek or a mountain. And we have one of the best botanic gardens. So my first day with council was as a work experience student when I was 15 years old. Following that I got a traineeship, and 13 years later here I am. I got a house, I got a family, I got 2 kids, another one on the way. I've been able to spend all this time with Gladstone Regional Council, and they've supported me on my journey, having maternity leave options and flexible work options when I do return to work, and knowing that I'll be supported to continue to develop in my career as well as support my family in the way they need me. I really like the work that I do. Being in the strategy and improvement team, we get to be involved in corporate planning, and then we get to see that work come alive and make a difference for our community, which is really rewarding because I get to see how hard our people are working, doing work that matters and makes a difference for our community, and at the end of the day that just makes it a better region for us all. My name is Jackie and I work in the strategy and improvement team.
Well, good morning. The time being 9 a.m, I declare open the general meeting for the Gladstone Regional Council for Tuesday the 5th of March 2024. There are no apologies, councillors. However, we do have Councillor Goodluck dialing in online. Thank you, Councillor Goodluck. Councillors, the next item on the agenda is the messages of condolence. Do we have any messages of condolence this morning? No messages of condolence. We'll move to the next item, which is the prior notifications of conflicts of interest, and I'll hand over to Councillor O'Grady.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I have a conflict, sorry.
G4.3.
Yeah, G4.3. I've already declared the conflict, so I'll be leaving the room.
Thank you, Councillor O'Grady. Any other declared conflicts? No, thank you. Then we'll move to the next item on the agenda, which is the Mayor's statement on current issues. And Saturday the 24th of February was a busy day in the Gladstone region. It started with a couple of events in the morning, one at Millennium Esplanade in Tenem Sands. Obviously our first welcome to the Gladstone region morning tea for a number of years, or at least for a while, as long as I can remember. And it's fantastic to see our team organising those again, welcoming the new people who have decided to make the Gladstone region their home to our region. There was a very full event, very busy event, and well done to Kylie, your team, for organising that at Millennium Esplanade, and I look forward to having more of those events across the region. At the same time, the Deputy Mayor and myself were at the Volunteer Marine Rescue in Gladstone as they launched their new rescue vessel, and of course dedicated and named that vessel Gladstone Rescue 1. So I'm sure that our local boaties will appreciate the new boat that the rescue team have at VMR to be able to go out and look after our boaties in the harbour and further afield into the Great Barrier Reef. And also later that night was the RSL Veterans and War Animals Memorial Dinner in Mount Larkham. Thank you to Cindy and Chris and everyone who attended that event as well. A very well attended event in Mount Larkham, raising funds for the local RSL too. So well done, Cindy and Chris. They put on an amazing show there. On Wednesday the 6th of March, coming up to Sunday the 17th of March, it's the 2024 Combined Schools musical, The Little Mermaid. Tickets are still available for some of the shows at the Gladstone Entertainment Convention Centre box office, or you can check out their website, get your tickets for that. Friday the 8th of March is International Women's Day, and there will be a dinner at the Gladstone Entertainment Convention Centre. I thank the Deputy Mayor representing me at that dinner. My granddaughter is turning 1. And I am very excited to celebrate International Women's Day, but as everyone can understand, she's turning 1 once, and I'm not going to miss that. So thank you, Khan. I'm sure your speech will be amazing, and thank you for representing Council at that dinner at the Entertainment Centre. And happy International Women's Day to all the ladies and girls in our Gladstone region. Parks Week is underway. Free moonlight movies are happening at Bunting Park in Calliope on the 8th of March as well. And there's other events. Check out Gladstone Regional Council's Facebook for more information on them. And of course, we have Easter in Gladstone coming up from the 28th of March to the 1st of April. You can jump on our Facebook website for more information, but we know there's the village opening party, the Harbour Festival, we have the fun run, Easter fun run, we have the Yachtsman's Long Lunch. The 76th Brisbane to Gladstone Yacht Race, of course, will be live streamed from 10 a.m. on Good Friday. The Raft Regatta, the Seafood Festival, the Harbour Cruise Brunch, and the Line Crossing Party. Why would you be anywhere else at Easter time? And of course, Saturday the 16th of March is the 2024 local government election right across Queensland. And today we have 4 retiring councillors who we'll say more about later, but to Darryl, Desley, CT and Rick. Supported, of course, today also by Colleen and Lyndall in the audience, and I know others online too. Today is, of course, their last council meeting, and as I said, we'll have more to say about that in general business, and no doubt they'll have some reflections themselves. Thank you, councillors. That's the Mayor's statement on current issues. We'll move on to... No, hang on, sorry. I've had 2 more here. I'll keep going. 16th of March still is the Boynton and Men's Shed 10-year anniversary and book launch. And, of course, the official opening of the Brothers Cricket Club synthetic pitches is happening in Gladstone as well. And it's not in my thing, I must have left it out, but it's very important to say that on the weekend we officially renamed the front gallery at the Gladstone Regional Art Gallery and Museum in honour of former Mayor Gail Sellers to now be the Gail Sellers Community Gallery. So as you walk into the gallery on the left-hand side, you have the museum room, you have the O'Connell room, and, of course, you have the Town Hall gallery as well. But now the gallery on the right, which was once called the Front Gallery, pretty boring name, is now aptly named after a lady who's dedicated much of her life to the arts in the Gladstone region, certainly much of her life to our community. So the Gail Sellers Community Gallery opened on the weekend as well. Thank you, councillors. The next item on the agenda is the confirmation of the minutes, G2.1, confirmation of the general meeting minutes for the 20th of February. Thank you, Councillor Hanson.
So moved, Mr Mayor.
Seconded, Councillor Branthwaite. All in favour? Motion is carried. Councillors, we have no deputations this morning. We have no deputations this morning, so I'll move straight into our officers' reports. G4.1 is our local housing action plan, and I'll hand over to the General Manager of People and Strategy, Carly Quinn. Thank you, Carly.
Thank you. Good morning, councillors. So following the last General Council meeting, we took on board some feedback from yourselves and reviewed some of the intent around some of the items in there that we had received through the various working groups. So there was the round table, there was the real estate forum, and a couple of different engagement opportunities that we'd had. In reviewing that, we've been able to reword some of those items to ensure that they are a bit clearer in the understanding of what we're trying to achieve there and provide some clarity, as well as we've included a column that articulates who the responsible party is. So that also provides some clarity on exactly what we think is our role and what we will do. Some of that doing is advocating though, and also really clearly articulates what we want the state and the federal government to do as well as some external community stakeholders. So I now commend the local housing action plan to you for endorsement.
Questions, councillors?
Just one comment, Mr Mayor. Just ensuring that these housing plans and the discussions being held at the Housing Roundtable do complete the proper document for the region. I'd hate to have 2 separate documents that aren't meaning the same for us, because we do that quite often. So I know we are collaborating, so we just need to continue to do that. I've been on the Housing Roundtable discussion for a little while. I'm not sure how long I'm going to be there now on in. So I just implore that those that follow to make sure that happens. Thanks.
Thank you.
Thank you. Councillor Goodluck? No? No? I thought you were on. No other questions, councillors? No? Councillor Muscat?
You are No, we have discussed this at the last meeting, so I just wanted to make sure, because I think Councillor Goodluck had some points. I mean, he was, if you're okay with that, yeah, I've already said everything about this that
Sorry,
I
he
wanted
did-
to say, so.
He does have his hand up. I thought he did. Thank you,
Yeah.
Councillor Goodluck. Back to you.
Thanks, Mr. Mayor. Thank you to the team. I've looked through the document this morning, and I think it's we've addressed all the issues that I had, and I'm happy to move the recommendation to endorse the local housing action plan. Thanks.
Thank you. Move Councillor Goodluck, seconded Councillor Churchill. Any further questions or discussions? Councillor Cameron.
Yeah, look, just to comment on it, yeah, I read through the document too, and it's very, very good, and all the amendments that were made were appropriate. But there seems to be an emphasis on housing for rental, which I think is probably not a wrong model, but I think more emphasis should be put on building for owner-occupiers. My reason for that is there seems to be a move amongst this generation that they spend what they earn. They don't invest in their property. If they don't invest in their property, they don't invest in the region. So I think an emphasis for build for the owner-occupier should be emphasised. Just a comment. Thank you.
Carly, is it able to add that in?
Yeah, I think there's there's a couple of areas in there that talk about the cost to build and some of those challenges. I think as we outwork those moving forward, I'm not sure if we need to amend the report. If you want us to, we can. But I do think that would be covered as long as we continue to focus on the plan as we move through the working group. We can make sure that that's a part of our agenda.
Yeah, thanks for that. I didn't intend for it to be amended at all, because this is a starting point, and I think as the discussion goes through, I think that side of it should be investigated.
Okay. Any further questions or comments? Move Councillor Goodluck, seconded Councillor Churchill. We put the motion now. All in favour? Motion's carried. Thank you. Next item on the agenda is G4.2, which is council attendance at the Hydrogen World Summit, and I'll hand over to Carly Quinn. Thank you, Carly.
Thank you. So this report seeks your authorisation to have two representatives, our Mayor Matt Burnett and our CEO, to represent the Gladstone region at the World Hydrogen 2024 Summit and Exhibition, which is in Rotterdam. This is an event that we attended last year. It's a key European conference and exhibition for green hydrogen. We had a lot of success from last year's delegation. The delegation is part of the federal delegation and a state delegation, so we'll be working in conjunction with both the federal government and the state government. Where we found the most value last year was in that delegation, in all of the meetings and opportunities with proponents that we found in and around the conference. So that's where we'll be focusing as well. We've got a lot of planning meetings set between now and May to ensure that we're making the most of the opportunity. And I think if we do proceed, the Mayor and CEO will be very busy when they get there with lots of meetings. So apologise now, we'll have you very busy.
Thank you, Carly. Questions to the General Manager, please. Councillor Goodluck.
Thanks, Mr. Mayor. I'm happy to move the officer's recommendation. I think it's critically important, given that Gladstone and our region seeks to position ourselves as world leaders in the hydrogen industry. It's only fair and reasonable that we have our mayor and other supporting officers at this event. This is the place where other world leaders in this space will be to discuss the future of hydrogen, and it's critically important that we're there. So I'm happy to move the officer's recommendation. Thank you.
Thank you. Is there someone else who want to talk, or is there a second for that first? You wanting to talk or a second? Thank you. Seconded. And did you want to say something as well, or?
No, I'm happy to second that. Thank you.
Okay. Any further questions? Councillor Trevor.
It'll be remiss of me if I didn't make some commentary in relation to it, Mayor. Having lived in this region for over 60 years, we will always get our usual naysayers and doomsday players in relation to you travelling to these world events, accompanied by our CEO, but we should never forget who we are. We are the industrial capital of Australia, and we are the port city to the world. We are truly blessed with one of the best ports in the world, and that will always attract major industry to this community. We're proud of our major industry. We have thousands of skilled workers on the ground in this community who live, rest, work and play. And to a large extent, it's attributable to the leadership that has been shown around this table for many, many years in attracting this investment, this world-class investment to our community. The world is changing, like it or not. Some of us are still being brought out of the dinosaur age, including myself. But we should also never forget where we come from in relation to our hydrogen and in relation to our coal. But I think the transition that we are undertaking will be welcomed by future generations. And can I say that I know that I'm leaving this table today safe in the knowledge that this community is in good hands in relation to the leadership of our community into the future with our transition roadmap, which includes, of course, the very topic which will be discussed in Rotterdam, and that is hydrogen, the next fuel source that will power the world long after I'm gone.
Thank you, Councillor Trevor. Any further questions or comments?
I'm very, very happy to support. We've had our hand in the world market with hydrogen. We don't need to jump out now. We need to continue to be a player and to continue to make sure that this region has ample opportunity in the new hydrogen world. Thank you.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you, Councillor Henson. No further questions or comments. Move Councillor Goodluck, second, and Councillor Muscat to put the motion. All in favour? Motion's carried. Thank you. We'll move to G. Thank you, Carly. G 4.3. What's wrong? Oh, okay. So, Helen. Okay. Conversion applications DA 28/2022 for educational establishment, 3 stages at 2744 Roundhill Road, Agnes Water. And I'll hand over to is this a conflict? Yes, thank you. Hand over to, I'm going to say, Acting General Manager of Customer Experience, Helen Robertson. Thank you, Helen.
Is a request for a conversion application. It's in relation to the Steiner School, the educational establishment that has previously been approved by Council. The conversion application runs a process that is set by the Planning Act, and the criteria are required to be assessed against is within the infrastructure charging resolution. That assessment has been undertaken in the table within your report and has been recommended for refusal based on those grounds listed in the report. Candice is with me today, and we're happy to take any questions in relation to the report.
Thank you, Helen. Questions to Helen or to Candice, please. Councillor Churchill.
Just a brief one. Thanks very much for that. Thanks for the comprehensive report, and totally supportive of your recommendation. I just wanted to get an understanding, and it's just an aside issue, is that as a result of that development that's occurring and having traversed it again over the weekend, is the general feeling is that there's going to be a lot more intensity of the main road and I'm just wondering whether there is any linkages that are connected with this development, with the other development, with the shopping centre development down to Bicentennial Drive to Agnes Water in relation to, my old chestnut that I keep raising is the pathways and cycleways and safety for people to traverse. And now we've got all this growth and development, which is good to see, but we've just got to manage it and we've just got to handle it so that we don't create a missing links circumstances. So in amongst all this, is there a window of opportunity that perhaps we should go back and revisit our bicycle and cycle and pathway strategy, not relevant to the application, but as a result of things that occur, we should also go back and revisit some of our strategies that we currently have regarding infrastructure for the safety of the community?
Yeah, I think Council is doing some work in that space in the asset planning area in relation to bike networks. The reality is that the application that has been approved, it's the land use type that has triggered that connection back into the existing network. and that's what the condition imposed. The way in which that happens, the condition has some flexibility around how that could be achieved. So certainly there'll be further conversations with the applicant over the lifespan of this development application in terms of how they're going to achieve that before they open.
Okay, yeah, no, prepared to accept that. I'm happy to move the recommendation, but I'm sure that some of my colleagues have probably got other comments, Mayor Matt.
They do. I have a question from Councillor Branthwaite. Can I get a seconder now that we have a mover, please? Thank you, Councillor Muscat. Over to you, Councillor Branthwaite.
Yeah, thanks, Mr. Mayor. I suppose the resistance from the applicant towards having this imposed on them is a purely cost point of view. I can imagine it'd be a hell of a cost to do something from the likes of the shopping complex all the way down to opposite their school. Yeah, and I noticed reference to being a main trunk route, because it's it's actually a local road, but it's not a federal road at all. But I'm hoping that one day, or that road will become a state road. And that in itself, though, is the reason why the actual applicant has to pay for it. So my thinking is there opportunities within that we can suggest and help these people to get through this cost? I can see the reasons why the recommendation is the way it is, but I also can see it from a school that's trying to get up and running and having this major cost put on them. Whether there can be some help from a funding source point of view. Is the council aware of any other funding that could possibly assist with them?
Certainly, this decision doesn't prevent the applicant from seeking other arrangements through other council opportunities.
Yeah.
I can't speak to that, but essentially, this is specifically a consideration of whether that pathway is considered trunk, and our recommendation is that it is not trunk.
Yeah. So the other thing that I noticed, and it was made of concrete. Is it specifically that it has to be made of concrete, or can be made of a cheaper material like asphalt or something like that?
It needs to comply with the standard, and the standard is for that concrete. If there was a proposal that was something different to that, then that would be a separate consideration, and it would require a change to that condition.
Right. So all those conversations can be entered into after this. Okay. All right. Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you. I've got Councillor Cameron and then Councillor Goodluck and Councillor Hanson.
Thanks, Mr. Mayor. Referring to figure 5, page 19, where it shows the extent of the footpath, and that's, I assume that structure that we're looking there in that overhead plan is at the shopping centre there?
Yep.
Okay. So, and that little section on the side, that is a road reserve there?
In the north-south, yes.
Yep. So that was all owned by Stockwell?
Correct.
So why isn't Stockwell taking on that section of paving up to the road reserve? Is that not a part of their conditions?
Their conditions required their access to connect back to the network. So again, it was heading back to where the network was existing. The same as this proposal is back to where the network is existing.
I just find that a bit odd, that they get the clear benefit of that up to there. Just can't see why that wouldn't be their responsibility. So they've got a paving there from the end of where that red line is.
Yep.
Down toward the township.
Correct.
Okay, I just find that odd.
Otherwise, that would have possibly been building a footpath that no one would be walking on, because no one would go past the entry to the shopping centre. They would have argued that that's an unfair and unreasonable condition for us to put on their application at the time. I get what you're saying.
Yeah, I can see all that, but you can see from the other point of view.
You can. Yeah.
That sort of doesn't make sense to me. But our policies are what our policies are, I guess. I don't know whether there's room for compromise there.
We can't go back and put a condition on them now.
No. No, okay. That's all right. Thanks.
Thank you, Councillor Goodluck, then Councillor Hanson.
Thanks, Mr. Mayor. Helen, I'm conscious of the fact that, this was a recommendation, I guess, or not a recommendation, that's probably the incorrect terminology, but advice from us for the applicant to go down this process so we could explore the opportunities. And I get also that it's a regulated process under the Planning Act, so it's not, council picking and choosing what outcomes we want here. This is guided by the Act and the regulations. Having said that, personally, I think back, I know we supported other schools in infrastructure. We do have a policy around, car parking and footpaths, but there's a lot where we try and help these sorts of educational establishments because we understand it's for the broader benefit of the community. So this particular recommendation here, if we accept that today, as you stated before, there's doesn't stop the applicant and council working together moving forward through other council processes. If we were to change the recommendation today, what sort of implications might that have? Not that I'm suggesting that's what I want to do. I just want to understand the implications of that sort of decision today.
Sure. In deciding, if council were to decide that this was in fact trunk, it would be in conflict with our current resolution for, the infrastructure charging resolution, and it would also mean that we're recognising footpath as trunk infrastructure when none of our footpaths are currently recognised as trunk infrastructure. And that's across the region.
Yes, you also point out that those 2 blocks of land in there are rural residential, which don't conform to requirement for footpaths.
Correct.
Thank you. Sorry, Mr. Mayor, I might let you go to Councillor Hanson. Just got to contemplate. Thank you.
Everyone wants the school to proceed. No one wants to put the burden of a footpath on the school. The problem is this trunk infrastructure or not, is the real question. Another question may be, is there another way we can help the school? I think is what you're getting at. Councillor Hanson.
I think the recommendations through you, Mr. Mayor, are complete according to the planning scheme and the priority infrastructure areas that we have in place. I know we're going to have a look at that with the new planning scheme moving forward, but in this instant, this decision, I believe, it complements sequential development. So I don't think there's any other way that we can move on this, and I need to agree with the recommendation.
Back to you, Councillor Goodluck. Or is that a legacy hand?
Thanks, Mr. Mayor. No, look, I'm supportive of the officer's recommendation. I'm just conscious of, no doubt, a little bit of frustration from an applicant that has gone through this process under our advice, and I understand we had to go through that process in order to reach this recommendation. But I would like, I do think that personally there's a way that council can assist here. I didn't see any costs for the footpath. I'm going to estimate it's probably a $500,000 footpath. Helen, is that right, or we don't know?
I'm going to say more.
Yeah, we haven't done detailed calculations on that, but it was a little bit less than that, I would have thought.
Oh, well,
yeah.
okay.
Yeah.
It's a decent
little bit less. Footpath. So we're talking about, look, I'm happy to support the recommendation here. And obviously it would be a decision for the new council, but I think council can continue to work with this school, as we do with many others around the region, to try and get a good outcome for the community here.
Thank you. I honestly thought it would be more than that, but that's
we only did calculation on materials, and it was over 100,000.
Getting the tradesmen as well, very hard. Councillor Churchill, did you have something to add before I put the motion?
Yeah, thanks, Mayor Matt. Look, if there was another way of being able to do it, then that'd be terrific. But this is fully compliant, and I read it twice to see if I could find some grey in amongst the black and white. I suppose as the mover of the motion at this stage, and being a complete advocate for the bicycle and pathway strategy that we've implemented, and I have asked that that could be reviewed by the next council, and to ensure that we don't create more missing links in amongst this. But that whole area down there now needs to be looked at in relation to not just here, but down to Bicentennial Drive, that whole connectiveness as we start to see that growth and development occurring. But I believe that, both personally and professionally, that there are community groups who are down in that area that would be very keen to get behind helping them deliver the infrastructure. And maybe perhaps local government could, this council could play an active role in helping those community groups deliver the infrastructure that's going to be needed.
Thank you. Any further questions, councillors? Moved Councillor Churchill, seconded Councillor Muscat. I'm going to put the motion. All in favour? Councillor Goodluck, thank you. It's carried. Thank you, Helen. Thanks. Thank you, Candice. Councillor O'Grady. Next item on the agenda is G4.4, the Phillip Street Precinct Advisory Committee Annual Report for 2023. And I welcome to the table General Manager of Community and Lifestyle, Carly Lee. And thank you, and welcome Jacqueline as well.
Thank you, Mr Mayor and councillors. This morning, I'm very proud to table the Phillip Street Advisory Committee report for 2023. Firstly, I'd like to take the opportunity to thank the volunteer committee for their time and commitment to the precinct and just acknowledge their membership. So, Councillor O'Grady and Councillor Muscat, thank you. Captain Chris Ford from the Salvation Army, Shakira Raymond from GAPDL Communities for Children, Deb Meyer-Cuddy from the Department of Treaty, Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander Partnerships, Communities and the Arts, take a breath, Arnie Cecilia Egmalees, Maxine Bruce, Kate Dufty, Supriya Singh and Jacob Humphreys. The advisory committee really are the voice for the precinct and continue to help shape the programs and services that are delivered from that precinct. We currently are seeking expressions of interest with the current membership expiring in May 2024. 6 meetings were held during 2023 and a total of 16 recommendations came from those meetings from the advisory committee. 8 community events were held at the precinct during 2023. And we are having a consistent 50 to 55 monthly bookings in our Maxine Bruce community meeting place, which is really fantastic. The precinct continues to attract additional social services for our community, including Orange Sky, Relationships Australia, CQ Rural Health, Choice Passion Life and more, with the majority of the consultation rooms now at capacity across the site, which is really great. Key reflections from the committee continue to celebrate the strong collaborative approach from the advisory committee and the operations group, which is key to the precinct's success. I table this report on behalf of the committee and invite any questions you may have.
Thank you, Carly. Questions to General Manager, please. Councillor O'Grady.
Thank you, Mr Mayor. I haven't got a question, but I just want to make a comment. Build it and they will come.
Yeah. Councillor Trevor.
And it would be remiss of me, Mayor, on my last day to firstly thank you for a wonderful report and to indicate from memory that this was a controversial project in its infancy. But I'm leaving here today proud in the fact that as acting mayor, I used my casting vote to get this project across the line. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you. Thank you, Deputy. It was amazing. I was in Canberra. Yes, I remembered it clearly. Well done. Yeah, it was a very controversial project, but look at it now. It's amazing and, yeah, really great asset for our community and looking forward to stages 2 and 3. Unreal. Any further questions for the General Manager? Councillor Muscat.
Hey, I don't have any questions, but I wanted to make a quick note about the time and effort, and that hasn't always been, you know, a perfect and smooth riding. The staff have put in a lot of work in making this place what we want it to be. I don't know if it is what we want it to be, but at the end of the day, it is what is the best it can be right now. So I just wanted to acknowledge all the work that's been put into, well, not just this advisory group, but we just meet a few times and that's about it. But everything else is done by officers, and I'm also very happy about the fact that we have staff now working in a fit for purpose space, which is much better than what we had. And I believe that we need to look after our staff so they can best look after our community. So it is a good space, and it wouldn't be possible if it wasn't because of the work that the staff has put in it. So thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Muscat. Any further questions or comments, councillors? No, do I have a mover? No, I don't. I need a... Councillor O'Grady, happy to move? And Councillor Trevor, I'm taking it you're happy to second. Any further questions or comments? I'll put the motion. All in favour? That's carried. Thank you, Kylie. Thank you, Jacqueline. Next, we have G4.5, our monthly financial report for the period ending the 26th of February 2024. And I'll hand over to the General Manager of Finance, Governance and Risk, Mark Holmes. Thank you, Mark.
Morning, Mayor. Morning, councillors. This is your monthly financial report for the end of February. We have brought this report forward in the reporting cycle to make sure we're hitting that compliance deadline and make sure we table the monthly financials at least once a month. So there has been some estimates made, but essentially the statements make sense, and I want to thank the team for pulling that work together. No significant change from the previous month, so we do see recurrent revenue tracking a little bit behind on a pro rata basis, so we'd expect to be around the 66% mark. We're at 59%. The two biggest items there are essentially our dividends and our general purpose grant. So they're the two biggest drivers there and why we're pulling that grant down, and we'll expect to receive them in Q4. With respect to our expenses, we are essentially tracking just below budget at the moment, 57% of where we were budgeted, so working through that. Employee benefits are just marginally above pro rata, so just over that 66% mark. And it's on some of those materials and services spends that we are just a little bit slightly under at this point, but do we anticipate that we'll track back towards our forecast. With respect to our capital works, whilst your graph shows there a forecast that we essentially have adopted in Q2 there of 104 million, our latest estimates that are just coming out of our works planning team is that it's just likely to be around about 98 million, inclusive of $29 million worth of flood damage works. That'll be completed within the financial year. So still a lot of expenditure to go, with $33 million spent at the end of February. So still around about 65 million work to be done over the next 4 months. So fair bit of activity out there in the market and happening around the region. With respect to our outstanding rates, we continue to be below where we were this time last year, so at 4.2%. So that compares favourably to the previous financial year. So happy to take any questions.
Thank you, Mark. Any questions for our General Manager, please? Councillor Branthwaite.
Yeah, thanks, Mr Mayor. I was actually probably aimed at John Tumba's. I just...
Take a seat.
Well, it's not really... It's just a clarification. I'm trying to find the thing now. What the heck is a traffic calming scheme?
Like a speed bump.
What, in the middle of Tank Street and Glen Lyon?
It could be a chicane. It could be...
Right.
Here we go.
It's not... Lucky you, John.
Over to you, Mark Francis.
I beat you to it. Councillor, the traffic calming scheme is a pilot project undertaken in conjunction with TMR, which is looking to reprofile the intersection itself. So it will be a raised platform within the intersection.
On the intersections. Oh.
Absolutely.
Oh, right.
It's quite an ambitious project. It's quite an expensive project, and we're happy that TMR are helping us fund it.
Do you reckon that'll get rid of that flash for cash there? Hey? Just as we want to think we're going to make that yellow light, we stick our foot down and we get a flash for cash as well. So I haven't had that yet.
That would be one of the highest intersections for accidents.
I reckon it's the worst intersection to be at too, because the Tank Street side of things, you've got to wait forever to get across, you know.
Councillor, we are looking at that in our meeting tomorrow, so that's being looked at, and main roads are in the process of adjusting that.
Yep.
They take a long time, main roads sometimes, to do things, but it is being done, that we're looking at that because it's an awful weight on one side.
It's just terrible. The other thing that I was actually, question I was going to ask was the low mead ceiling of the low mead road. Now, we're a little of the way in it because it's done in 3 stages, is it?
Yep.
So the first stage is obviously around $500,000 worth done, is that right? Does that go as far as from the Miriamvale end? For how far does it go?
The total project is just around about 22 kilometres.
Yeah.
The first, I don't actually have the details to hand, so I can't, I need to take that on notice and send you the details of the staging.
I noticed there was a comment from the locals right at the start of this, the fact that we're ripping up perfectly good bitumen and resealing it again, and there was a lot of comment about that. And is the project will be finished by the end of June?
It's again, I need to take provide that to you on notice, but it's not just a resealing; it's a widening and reprofiling.
Right.
We're also addressing some of the historic road being outside the road reserve as well. So it's a significant
tidy
project
up of the whole area.
Yeah, absolutely.
Right. Just for some clarity with some of those people that might be looking online, they're actually not hearing from me; they're hearing it from you.
I'm happy to
really
provide some more
handy.
information.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
And funded too, so
Yes.
you have to.
Funded by federal
Yeah.
or state?
No, federal.
This is the federal
Yeah.
regional
Yeah.
pilot program.
Yeah.
Excellent. Good work.
Got to live within the guidelines of the funding scheme.
Absolutely.
Councillor Hanson.
Mr. Mayor, having been through countless number of these reports over the many years, mainly by the current CFA, Mark, I think, has been with the group for a long, long time now, not totally. I was just a bit uncomfortable this morning when he mentioned estimate in this process, the budget process. I don't like hearing those sorts of words coming from a chief financial officer. So could you...
Yeah, the word estimate is there because we don't have, essentially we're working on getting alignment between our capital forecasting and our budget forecasting.
I understand.
So essentially that's why we're utilising the word estimate there, because we haven't formally taken up the word forecast.
Thank you. Any further questions from Mark, please? Councillor Trevor.
Just a comment, Mayor, that it is still pleasing to see, Mark, through the establishment's good guidance and management, that we are still working towards a forecasted operating surplus of $7.1 million. So that's a fantastic effort by your team, mate, and congratulations.
Thank you. Can I get a mover for the officer's recommendation, please? Move Councillor Hanson, second Councillor Branthwaite. With the motion, all in favour? The motion is carried. Councillors, with your permission, I'd like to hold over councillor reports and move straight into our confidential items. We have no urgent business, no notices of motion, but we do have one confidential item, and I'd like to think that we could end this council term with the councillor reports rather than a confidential item. So, with your permission, I'd like to move into confidential, and I will move that way, and I look for a seconder, please. Thank you, Councillor Cameron, and we're moving into confidential in accordance with the Local Government Regulations 2012, Section 254J. It is proposed to close the meeting to discuss one confidential business item, G 8.1, out of policy water leak concession, and the meeting will be closed under, as I said, Section 254J, rating concessions, as this item will discuss contract negotiations. Who was the second? Councillor Cameron. Put the motion. All in favour? Thank you. When you're ready, Josh.
Sign up to Council's disaster and weather event warning system. Receive alerts about emergency news, severe weather events and other public safety alerts via SMS or email. Registering to the disaster messaging system is free. To register, visit Gladstone Regional Council's Region Watch website and click on the Register for Warnings button. Get ready, Gladstone. Take the steps to protect what's most important to you. Let's be better prepared and protected for emergencies and disasters.
Gladstone Regional Council are committed to fostering a proud, involved and engaged community. The Gladstone Regional Council Community Investment Program provides financial support to local community initiatives, projects and events which promote community connections, regional enhancements, community celebrations and community education. For more information on the Community Investment Program, visit gladstone.qld.gov.au. Gladstone Regional Council. Connect, innovate, diversify.
Our family loves getting out in nature and exploring. Growing up in Loamede as a bush kid, I really love connecting with nature and being in nature, and it's nice that the Gladstone region offers that. It's not very far to go anywhere you are, and you can connect with some sort of nature, whether it's the ocean or a creek or a mountain. And we have one of the best botanic gardens. So my first day with council was as a work experience student when I was 15 years old. Following that I got a traineeship, and 13 years later here I am. I got a house, I got a family, I got 2 kids, another one on the way. I've been able to spend all this time with Gladstone Regional Council, and they've supported me on my journey, having maternity leave options and flexible work options when I do return to work, and knowing that I'll be supported to continue to develop in my career as well as support my family in the way they need me. I really like the work that I do. Being in the strategy and improvement team, we get to be involved in corporate planning, and then we get to see that work come alive and make a difference for our community, which is really rewarding because I get to see how hard our people are working, doing work that matters and makes a difference for our community. And at the end of the day, that just makes it a better region for us all. My name is Jackie and I work in the strategy and improvement team.
Sign up to Council's disaster and weather event warning system. Receive alerts about emergency news, severe weather events and other public safety alerts via SMS or email. Registering to the disaster messaging system is free. To register, visit Gladstone Regional Council's Region Watch website and click on the Register for Warnings button. Get ready, Gladstone. Take the steps to protect what's most important to you. Let's be better prepared and protected for emergencies and disasters.
Gladstone Regional Council are committed to fostering a proud, involved and engaged community. The Gladstone Regional Council Community Investment Program provides financial support to local community initiatives, projects and events which promote community connections, regional enhancements, community celebrations and community education. For more information on the Community Investment Program, visit gladstone.qld.gov.au. Gladstone Regional Council. Connect, innovate, diversify.
Our family loves getting out in nature and exploring. Growing up in Loamede as a bush kid, I really love connecting with nature and being in nature, and it's nice that the Gladstone region offers that. It's not very far to go anywhere you are, and you can connect with some sort of nature, whether it's the ocean or a creek or a mountain. And we have one of the best botanic gardens. So my first day with council was as a work experience student when I was 15 years old. Following that I got a traineeship, and 13 years later here I am. I got a house, I got a family, I got 2 kids, another one on the way. I've been able to spend all this time with Gladstone Regional Council, and they've supported me on my journey, having maternity leave options and flexible work options when I do return to work, and knowing that I'll be supported to continue to develop in my career as well as support my family in the way they need me. I really like the work that I do. Being in the strategy and improvement team, we get to be involved in corporate planning, and then we get to see that work come alive and make a difference for our community, which is really rewarding because I get to see how hard our people are working, doing work that matters and makes a difference for our community. And at the end of the day, that just makes it a better region for us all. My name is Jackie and I work in the strategy and improvement team.
Thank you, councillors, and thank you to the gallery. We now resume back with the two recommendations from officers in terms of the water leaks. There's two, and there's one recommendation for both. The council refused the application for concealed water leak regarding assessment 3058-6-9 and assessment 27. Is it? I can't read. 85. Thank you. I need glasses. They're here somewhere. 2741-7. Is there a mover for the officer's recommendation or an alternate recommendation? Councillor Goodluck.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I'd like to move that council refuses application for concealed water leak for, sorry, you just moved out, for the first one and accepts up to 50% for the second one. The assessment numbers there.
Thank you. Refuse the application.
So refuse for assessment number 30856-9 and accept for 2741-7.
Is that?
Sorry, Mayor, which is which?
I had to mention the address.
Oh, of course. Sorry. Yeah.
Yeah, the first is. Yes. Are we allowed to say whether one's commercial or not? Thank you. Thank you. We'll just leave it there at that. Councillor Goodluck has moved the alternate recommendation on the screen. Do I have a seconder for that recommendation? Thank you, Councillor Cameron. Questions to the general manager or police? And I'm not, should not be asking about them. No? Oh, sorry. Thank you. All right, so I have a mover in Councillor Goodluck for the alternate recommendation, seconded by Councillor Cameron. I'm going to put that motion. Now all in favour? Those against? Motion's carried. Thank you, councillors. We'll move back to the ordinary item, ordinary agenda, sorry, and the last item on the agenda for this term is our councillor reports. And I thought, with 4 councillors retiring, I have a little bit I'd like to say, and we have something we would like to play, but I thought I'll throw to the councillors, starting on my left with Councillor Branthwaite, that would like to say a few words.
Oh, thank you, Mr. Mayor. I've actually said a fair bit a few weeks ago when I initially said that I wasn't seeking re-election, but I just want to reiterate the privilege I've had over the last 4 years of being part of this group. I think the group is quite dynamic. It's from all different aspects of the political spectrum and different parts of our community, and each and every one of us has had a valuable input into how the decision making happens, and it's been quite good, healthy and robust debate at times. But also, while we might disagree a fair bit, not a fair bit, very irregularly to be honest, I think we respect each other's point of view, and it's been a delight to be able to work with this group and with the council group itself, the whole business. I think we've got an amazing I suppose management committee across the whole business, and also the people that are employed within and work within council itself. They're incredible people, and they very knowledgeable, very healthy. You sit down with some people and they'll talk about gravel pits and where the best gravel is, what culverts this done this, and what crossings where. It's quite amazing the things that go on within this business. It's just enormous. The council does an amazing job, and I would personally like to thank my wife for putting up with all my, I suppose, quirkiness and over the last 4 years. It's been divulged in a recent dinner party that she has had to put up with a bit. Yeah, but anyway, no, thank you very much, and I wish you, all the ones that are seeking re-election, all the best. So I really do hope that you do get elected. I think the council, this council needs continuity within its management. Last but not least, this fellow over here, me and Matt Burnett, I think you're amazing. I watched you down in Canberra, and the respect that you are being held within, right across this land, right, with the local government, with state politics and with federal politics. I was saying, I watched you get a standing ovation at the National General Assembly in Canberra, and it was, if anybody wants to see the recording, I did put it up there. It was pretty cool to watch, and we should all be very proud of the advocacy that Matt, and it's very bipartisan, mind you, right across. He'll do the very best, whatever he can. Whoever's in power, he'll do the very best he can for our region. And it's the same with all these councillors here. They work with whoever's in power, and whoever the decision makers are, they work very hard and diligently with. And the ones that are leaving, the likes of Councillor Rick and Desley, and also my good friend Chris Trevor here, who I met 1984. When we had a car crash and I needed his legal advice. Anyhow, but we've been friends ever since. But apart from all that, the effort that these three people have put into this, into the way that this region has been shaped is insurmountable. And the knowledge that, especially with the two senior ones, the two guys here, that you've been here 17 years, because you are senior to me. 18. 18 years. Wow. There's actually a lotto thing for that, 18.
I resent the word senior.
You're older than me, whereas CT's younger than me, but CT has also been involved with federally as well, and the knowledge and skills you bring to this table are quite amazing. And Desley, your advocacy for the Inland Rail corridor is just worth its weight in gold, and your community. We thank you so much. And but anyhow, it's been a pleasure working with everybody. Thank you.
Thank you. You're next on the left, so I thought,
Thanks, Mayor Matt, my dear friend Mayor Matt. Most of which I wanted to say has already been said when I announced my impending departure today due to ill health, but for some bad luck in relation to that, I'd probably go around again. But unfortunately, fate has determined that that's not to be, and I'm leaving knowing that the establishment is in safe hands. I'm leaving in the knowledge that we have worked together, despite our philosophical differences, as a great team. You've shown great leadership, yourself and Lisa, managers, officers, and I'm grateful to have been part of the establishment, as I've always called it, and been collectively involved in the leadership of our employees and staff, managers, CEO, councillors, and the Mayor. I did forget when I said that I was going to thank the Gladstone Regional Council collectively for partnering and helping me deliver in the short term that I was in federal parliament. A lot of the projects that we see today that have been of enormous benefit to our community, including but not limited to the Calliope Crossroads, of course, where lots of people were getting injured, maimed or killed until that overpass was built and first announced in the lead up to the election in 2007. I've got a bit old, Mayor, to hold you upside down by the ankles and paint on the crossroads, CT Crossroads. We often joked about it over a few rums, but it isn't to be.
I tried. You want to know the main roads policy? You're not allowed to be living.
No.
So I said it's fine. Leave it named as it is.
Kirkwood Road Stage 3 was another partnership between council and the federal government, where Stage 1 was built by the council and Stage 2 was announced and delivered by the late Paul Neville, and Stage 3, of course, by ourselves, which enabled the suburbs of Kirkwood to expand. It enabled It enabled heavy vehicles to come off our local roads, and it enabled a short access from Boyne-Tannum to Gladstone for all the workers at Yarwun 2 and Orica and the power station. So it was a great little project partnered by the Gladstone Regional Council and the federal government at the time. And I often drive along it and think, what a great project with all these houses that were right at the time when the 3 projects on Curtis Island for LNG were being announced, and we were under enormous pressure as a community to deliver affordable housing for our local community that were already here, and for our burgeoning community as a result of that industry coming to town. And I don't doubt we'll see that with the hydrogen industry that will come in years to come. The council contributed to financially to the synthetic hockey field in Gladstone. One of the only communities on the east coast of Australia that didn't have a synthetic hockey field. And look what's happened once we delivered it. All our state and national representatives got to compete on a level playing field in Gladstone and go off to other communities throughout Australia and become state and national representatives. And Council, I'm eternally grateful for Council co-partnering with me to deliver that project to Gladstone and our community. Of course, the Junior Rugby League fields, being a rugby league town, of course, had to get some money, and so did the Tannum Sands Rugby League fields. The George Creed Graham Konofsky Airport Terminal. When we come up short with dollars, and the council approached me at the time to complete the terminal, we went in and we fought. And we fought hard. You'd remember it well. With Graham Konofsky and co. And George to deliver that project to the community and to finish it off. The $20 million towards the Rockhampton to Gladstone water pipeline for design and planning back in 2009, and here we see now it happening as an actual reality, not only to provide the future security of water to our already existing industries, but also to provide a catalyst for our new industry, which is, of course, hydrogen. So those little long-term vision and strategic planning partnerships between local, state and federal government do happen for a reason. They take a little bit longer than our community would like, but they do happen. And it's great to see all those things coming to fruition. The only one probably that hasn't happened yet was the announcement in 2009 for the Port Access Stage 3. And of course that's been announced and re-announced, and money shifted from here, there and everywhere. And still that vital piece of infrastructure hasn't been delivered to our community, but certainly does need to happen. And last but not least, I'll never forget it, and I'll always remember the photo of you and myself on the front page of the Observer after relentless lobbying and being known in federal parliament at the time as Boomgate Burnett. We delivered boom gates to the community of Talina, and I'll never forget that photo of you and myself at Talina, announcing that project which you'd fought so hard for and lobbied me for, and got the consent of the minister in federal parliament to approve. So it sort of indicates to me that good things happen when governments work together and people work together, which leads me to one of my final points, and that is a notice of motion which I put before this council some 7 years almost to the day now, which at the time was unanimously approved, but things sort of derailed after that. But you could say I have a 7-year itch in mentioning this today, and that is, of course, the need for future councils to work closely with the trustees of the Gladstone Showgrounds with a view to delivering a world-class facility at that location, which is desperately needed for our community and something that I've argued for many years but been unsuccessful to date. The trustees of that land have been wonderful advocates for this community. They have run that Gladstone show since I was a boy. And I remember quite vividly turning up to the show each and every year and enjoying the festivities that were provided by those trustees, which continue to this day. But we do know that with life, things change. And our Gladstone Harbour Festival is our show these days. And our Mount Larkham show is our regional agricultural show these days. And our speedway that I watched as a boy has now relocated from the Gladstone Showgrounds to the Banaraby precinct, thanks to the hard-working local community champions who, without the assistance of federal government or state government, but with some assistance from this council, achieved a multi-million-dollar outcome for this community, and they should be very proud of what they have achieved down there. But essentially now, through no fault of the trustees, the showground land has become a shell of what its former self was. Through nobody's fault, it's just that things change. And I would encourage on my departure today for the Gladstone, for the showground trustees to consider meeting with the new council and yourself with a view to doing what is in the best interests of the community, and that is, or what I believe to be, and others may argue against me. I believe that the land should be surrendered to council for community purposes. There's no hidden agenda here. The agenda is to deliver a multi-purpose sports facility for the future of our kids and our region. State and national competitions, the provision of 700 netballers with new courts within the precinct over there, the Department of Education cooperating with the Gladstone State High School to provide a sporting school of excellence, and of course to take our young children off the Dawson Highway and avoid them being injured, maimed or killed because of the parking difficulties associated with the Gladstone hockey fields. There are many and various reasons why it should happen. I congratulate the trustees of the Gladstone Showgrounds for the magnificent contribution that they've made to the community over the years, but I would encourage them and the new council to sit together and formulate an outcome that is going to be of enormous future benefit to this community. And I do ask, Mayor, that you open those or reopen those negotiations for all those reasons that I've mentioned in an effort to deliver a project for the community which this council and future councils will be proud of for many years to come. We call it an agenda window. Those of us who have been off to federal parliament, and agenda windows are windows that become open to communities every so often. And the agenda window that I'm talking about is that in the next 12 months, we have a state and federal election coming up. And the agenda window is to lobby both the state and federal governments in the lead up to their elections to provide funding for a multi-purpose sports facility at the Gladstone Showgrounds. Now, if the federal government can provide $15 million towards a pool at Boyne Tannum Sands in this community, it can certainly provide $50 million for a multi-purpose facility at the Gladstone Showgrounds. Something that the current trustees of the showgrounds would be proud of, and something that this community would be proud of on an indefinite basis. But it's a short window, it's a short agenda window, and unless we come together as a community and agree to the surrender of the land to the council in order for us to facilitate a delivery of that project, that agenda window could be lost forever. 2 elections within the next 2 years, opportunities to argue our case at the highest level and deliver a multi-purpose sporting facility that will be the envy of all councils on the east coast of Australia. My last public engagement was on Saturday at the Art Gallery when we opened the, as you've mentioned, Mayor, when we opened the Gail Sellers Community Gallery. And Gail, during her speech, spoke of a quote which I think summed up everything for me at the appropriate timing, which is today when I leave local government and public life. And the quote that she quoted was from Muhammad Ali. And the quote was from Muhammad Ali, "Service to others is the rent you pay for your room here on earth." Public service has given me a meaningful and purposeful life. It was never about me. It was never about a party. It was always about community. And I thank the community for inviting me into their life and allowing me to be part of it, and to be remembered as someone who has worked tirelessly along with my family to deliver a better outcome for our region. Thanks, Mayor. You're a great man. You deserve to be where you are. Your dad and my dad worked together in the Gladstone Railways. Your dad is a signalman, my dad as an engine driver for over 40 years. We have been great mates. I've seen you do some enormous work for this community, and I thank you on behalf of the community for it. You are a good man. Thank you.
Councillor O'Grady.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I'm filled with mixed emotions as I reflect on the incredible journey that the past 8 years have been. It has been an honour and privilege to serve as a councillor at the Gladstone Regional Council, and I'm deeply grateful to each and every one of you that have supported me along the way. Firstly and foremost, I would like to extend my heartfelt thanks to Mayor Matt Burnett for his leadership and unwavering enthusiasm for the Gladstone region. Mayor Burnett, you've not only been a colleague, but you've also been a mentor to me. And I'm grateful for the guidance and support you've provided me in my tenure. Oh my gosh. You should have seen me writing it. I would like to express my appreciation to all my fellow elected members. In time of challenge and adversity, your camaraderie and solidarity have been a source of strength for me. And I'm truly thankful for your unwavering support. During my time as a councillor, I have the privilege of meeting individuals of all walks of life, from our friends in Soki City, Japan, to visitors from China, native Canadians, politicians, TV celebrity, most importantly, our community members and our Gladstone Regional Council staff. These interactions have enriched my perspective and deepened my commitment to serving our diverse community. Throughout my tenure, I have remained steadfast in my dedication to putting our community first. While the responsibilities of my role sometimes meant sacrificing time with my family, I am grateful for their unwavering support and understanding. Their sacrifices have not gone unnoticed. I'm in debt to them for their love and encouragement. Oh my gosh. As I reflect on my time in office, I'm proud of the positive impact we have made on our... I'll start that again. As I reflect on my time in office, I'm proud of the positive impact that we have made on our region, for advocating essential infrastructure projects to champion initiatives such as the Boyne-Burnett Inland Rail Trail. I believe we have left a lasting legacy that will benefit generations to come. As I bid farewell to my role as councillor, I look forward to cherishing precious moments with my family, particularly my husband, who has still stood by my side while I've been attending countless council meetings and functions. While this may be the end of one chapter, rest assured I will continue to advocate for our beautiful region from the sidelines. Oh my gosh. So, my friends, it's not goodbye, but rather see you later. I'm confident that the spirit of community and collaboration that defines Gladstone Region will continue to thrive long after my tenure. Thank you once again for your privilege for serving you. Thank you once again for my privilege for serving you, and I look forward to our paths crossing again in the future. Thank you.
I want to go straight to Rick, but I think some people need to go to the loo, so I'm going to let Rick decide. Do we let them go to the toilet, or would you like to go now?
If people need to go to the toilet, it's less important.
Okay. No morning tea. You can go for a 2-minute toilet break and then come straight back. I'm counting. We're not going to hold. We're just going to stay. Pause while you go to the loo. No, hope not. No. We'll wait there for a second. For those watching online wondering why we're not talking, we're just taking a few second break.
This is not on the record, but...
it is.
Before I start, people opposite me will always say that I would make a lousy poker player because they read me by the way my face is acting most of the time, and it's quite easy.
It's usually eyebrows, Councillor Hanson.
If I don't like a decision, they do surely know it. We're waiting for other councillors.
Yeah. And then we'll play a video, and then we'll close the meeting. Yeah. I mean, goodness. Yeah. Try not to, yeah. Thank you, Councillor Hanson.
I'm more than happy, Councillor. I've written a few notes. I probably repeat myself, but we'll go anyway. Getting elected in a by-election for Gladstone City Council was very challenging at first, and as it will be for those newly elected people coming in March. However, none of these experiences could have prepared those seeking election on the Gladstone Regional Council for the very tense times prior to the council and amalgamations. I was honoured to be elected, and I've served on this council since then. It's been very challenging and rewarding throughout. I've enjoyed the complexities of working with many councillors and officers during this period, and I thank them all for their support. We can't change the past, and we've said that many, many times, but it's my belief that there were a few disappointing decisions made in the early years of amalgamation that to this day affect current decision making. One was to discontinue, and you've heard this many, many times before, one was to discontinue the Central Queensland Local Government Association and then replace it only months later with a similar group, imposing unnecessary pressure on council's budget. Creditable programs within the regional waste collaboration through waste education and the building of a MRF developed by CQ Waste were lost and have only since been recently revised. There was a huge opportunity lost also for the Tenham Sands community when council's decision to develop the land which had once been mooted as the Tenham Sands Civic Precinct, which included a pool in its design, into a housing estate. We've lost those times, we can't get them back, but just remember them. Tough decisions made early on, including the Agnes Water Desalination Project and the Gladstone Airport Upgrade Project, should stand the test of time. Other projects that jump out at me, and there are many in no particular order, were the Gladstone Entertainment Centre flat floor development, the Agnes Water Community Centre, the Turkey Beach Community Centre, the Baroran Water Upgrade, the South End Community Centre, Baffle Creek Community Centres, the Boyne Skate Park, Alf Larson Park in Miriamvale, which will stand the test of time forever, Liz Cunningham Park in Calliope, the Pump Track at Memorial Park, and the development of the skate park in Boyne Island. Projects assisted by government funding of note have been the Calliope Crossroads upgrade, Kirkwood Road completion, the Dawson Highway Phillip Street intersection upgrade, the Phillip Street Community Centre, the Phillip Street dual laning of the Phillip Street dual laning, and the upgrade of the traffic lights on the Drynan Drive Dawson Highway intersection, which we fought for a long time. We saw the establishment of our first Gladstone Youth Council, which quite appropriately has become a fixture of our operations. Waste has always been one of my interests, commencing back in the CQ Waste days. With the recent development of the Gladstone Regional and CQ Waste Management plans, the focus is definitely back on this vital part of Council's operations. It's pleasing to see and hear of the developments in this space. A highlight for me in this space was, of course, being part of the International Zero Waste Tour in 2018. And I may add that I was the only one to put my hand up for that. No one else wanted to go, but it was an amazing journey. Thank you. Disability access has been another area of concern, but we have developed a disability infrastructure audit over the years, and it's now very pleasing to see that an access and equity plan is being developed. I've been lucky in working with teams in development of projects like the Gladstone Regional Social Infrastructure Strategic Plan, which is now being reviewed, and have attended many national and state conferences on behalf of Council. I certainly enjoyed being able to be part of your internal audit committee. As you well know, I was well and truly a member of that for a long, long time. Being Deputy Chair of the Local Disaster Management Group for a period, and still part of the TAG or TAC committee for many years. I have had the councillor portfolio positions for corporate services and governance and infrastructure services, and held positions on many other advisory boards. I have served with pride as your representative on the Gladstone Airport Board and the GAPDL Board, and I acknowledge the Chair and CEO of both of those organisations and members for those great teams. Finally, thank you to the community for giving me the opportunity to represent you. Thanks to CEO Lisa, General Managers and all staff, that I've had the pleasure to work with over these many years. Thank you to Matt Burnett and the councillors for continuing to make this a more than interesting place to have worked in, and that I will say goodbye to. Thanks to Lyndall, my daughters Pia and Anika and family, who have been through this with me all the way through. I will miss this place, but I will definitely enjoy the challenges ahead of me. Onwards and upwards. Thank you. Sorry for that being a little bit emotional, but I know I'm not sorry for that at all.
Councillors, we have a video where four which we'll blend together very quickly. Before we play the video, I just want to say, Darryl, it's only been 4 years on this council. We've known each other for a long time. It's only been 4 years on this council, but we've been friends for a long time, and your contribution in 4 years, it feels like you've been here for 12, 18. You've been an amazing asset for our community, and I don't want to overshadow your comments, but I just want to quickly just mention the councillors on behalf of the other councillors in the room. Desley, 8 years representing the community, and all these projects have been mentioned, like Phillip Street and the library and the Agnes Water Community Centre, Elf Larson Park, Tom Jeffrey Park, the Bullion Hall, the Turkey Beach Hall. There's so much infrastructure that we put together as a council. Boyne, Burnett and Rail Trail obviously is your legacy item. There's no doubt about that. Chris, as a city councillor back in the day, federal member, deputy mayor, and a family friend since I was born. Thank you. And to Rick, 18 years service to our community is second to none. And thank you to all four of you on behalf of your retiring councillors, on behalf of the senior executive team and all council staff over all those years. Thank you, and this is for you. Thank you. On behalf of our entire community, I declare the meeting closed at 10:57 a.m.